Hello everyone and welcome to Khel Now TV and the season is upon us. FIFA World Cup starts tomorrow. तो सबसे पहले तो मैं आप सबको स्वागत करूंगा हमारे न्यू शो पे which is Football Festival in the Desert presented by OSM Omega Sigi Mobility. I am Wali, a new face and the baton has been passed by Ashish Negi to me. काफ़ी फेमिलियर है आशीष नेगी जो है काफ़ी पॉपुलर है खेल नाउ टीवी में काफ़ी लोग आप पूछ भी रहे थे इनके बारे में तो फाइनली हमारे सामने यहाँ पे आशीष भाई आ चुके हैं एंड एलेक्स माय डियर फ्रेंड ही इज़ ऑल्सो ओवर हियर एंड इनका काम जो है यूजुअली कैमरे के पीछे ज़्यादा होता है इन टर्म्स ऑफ रीडिंग ग्राफिक एंड कंटेंट जो है आपको डिलीवर करते हैं उस तरीके से बट आज being an avid football follower and for the festival ahead that we have lined up, Alex is going to be here with us. So let's start with Ashish first. Ashish, the football season is upon us. मतलब World Cup हर 4 साल में आता है. It's in Qatar. We'll talk about the nitty-gritties a little later on, but just tell me what is the general feeling around it as of now?
I think I will go back in 2010-12 when this World Cup Qatar concept came, and we all thought that, of course, FIFA has given the bid to Qatar, but we always thought that this 10-year time, and they might take it away. And I think Western force, the countries, they tried also.
Right.
That can they keep some backup host, and just take the World Cup away from Qatar. And we always thought how this will work in terms of European calendar, because there's a football calendar totally opposite of it. And, we have seen the injuries and everything. Already the commentators, the experts in Europe criticizing the timing of the World Cup. I think finally, football is going to take the center stage.
Right.
We all know, everybody knows about all the controversies regarding the hosting rights, regarding the the building stadiums, the migrants workers, and the rights of LGBT community, the women's rights in Middle East. And I think everything have been talked about, and we will also talk about it going ahead in this show and in upcoming days. But I think I'm very happy that finally football is taking the center stage. And I think as an Asian, I'm a very keen Asian football follower. People know about it, and I feel proud today. Of course, India is nowhere near to the World Cup, but seeing Qatar playing the first game of the World Cup, being the host, and I was just checking the squad, and I think alle those, the players who played against India played that famous draw at the home of the Qatar, the 0-0 where Gurpreet Singh Sandhu, heroics India kept the clean sheet, and I think that makes me a little proud that the same players are going to play in the World Cup. Maybe one day we'll see our Indian players in the World Cup taking the center stage at the World Cup. I really want India to play as a qualified nation, not as a host, the way Qatar is playing right now. So hopefully that one day will come and we'll keep the Indian football for at least for next 30 days in this show. Keep it on the side for now, and then we'll talk about what's going in the FIFA World Cup 2022.
Well, yes, a very good point made there by Ashish because of course, we are Indians and we love supporting India, but as a result of the FIFA World Cup, we have our favorites such as Argentina, Brazil. I hope that one day एक ऐसा दिन आए जब finally Indian national anthem वहाँ play हो ground में, and like Ashish said, not just because they're hosting the World Cup, but because they deserve it. I hope that day comes. But right now, let's just take Alex's opinion. Alex, FIFA World Cup is upon us, like I've said. Quite excited for that.
To be very honest, mixed feelings. Excited, yes. Hyped, yes. Supporting my favorite players, yes, but following up on my boss, yes, I have mixed feelings because looking back when I started watching football and looking back at my first World Cup in 2010 when Spain won, Andre Iniesta का winning goal, तो back then से लेकर अब तक it is like कि football का सबसे बड़ा festival ये so you want it to be very clean in terms of controversies वगैरह. You don't want that. You want it to any tournament or any hyped up, what can I say, any hyped up festival or Brazil में like Rio de Janeiro वाला level का जितना बड़ा football festival है, you want it quite clean. So this time I am having mixed feelings because yes, as I mentioned, I'm hyped.
Right.
I'm supporting my favorite players, favorite teams, yes, tactics, managers and all. But at the same time, yes, my heart goes down a bit when I read about all the controversies here and there. Speaking about like controversies, latest was like fan parade. Football has such a huge fandom, and which TikTok page was that? Qatar Living or Qatar something like which mentioned or which showed कि yes, fake fan parade चल रही है. They bought hired actors.
I don't agree that it's like that calling Indians. I think people are not aware of this. Brazil, other than Brazil, or Argentina, other than Argentina, they have the biggest fan following anywhere. It's in India.
Yep.
Kerala, Bengal get divided into two during the World Cup. Half is Brazil, half is Argentina. So you can't call them fake. I'm sure Qatar is doing their best to hire these fans. But I'm not aware of Pakistan, Bangladesh. I'm aware of Bangladesh football fandom, just like West Bengal of ours. It earlier was Bengal only, right? So they are also divided into the Argentina and Brazil. These two countries, I'm very sure they have enough fans in India, and there are lots of Indian, who are working in Qatar, who are living in Qatar, who support Brazil and Argentina. I will be surprised that if some Indians, lots of Indians or lots of Desis, I will say, who are living in Qatar supporting, say, France, or in Portugal will have fan followings supporting England. But two countries, I'm sure, have enough fan following in India to fill stadiums, any stadiums. It's Argentina and Brazil. I'm not talking about England, or France, or Germany. I think Argentina, Brazil have enough fans in two states, Kerala and West Bengal, to fill any stadium in the world. And I understand, especially, and it's again casual racism from the Western world, that brown skin can't support these countries. And I know how the Qataris system work. They of course have hired fans. I'm not saying that they have not done it. But the point I want to try to make is that lots of Indians who are living in Qatar, whenever India at any level has played in Qatar, they have overshadowed local Qataris fans in the stadium at any level, under 16, under 18, senior teams. Last time when India played Qatar in that famous 0-0 draw, Qatari government or authorities made sure the Indians does not get enough quota of tickets to fill stadium by their own. So to call the Indian football fans fake, it's a very layman excuse from the Western world, especially. For example, I think it was Giroud who said that I'm surprised to see lots of Indians supporting France. France is defending World Cup champion, and if we have, and I'm sure, as I said, with the population size of our country is huge, I think there are enough fans for every countries. But two countries, I'm very sure. You go to Brazil, you go to Kerala during the World Cup, you go to West Bengal, you will see each household have at least one fan for Brazil or for Argentina. It's not because of Lionel Messi or Neymar and all. It goes back to the 90s of Pele's and Maradona. Maradona's fans in India are crazy. I know older generation of who's way older than us, 30 plus, from our mid 20s. So you are 50 or 60s now, and because I've worked with these people, and they're crazy Maradona fans. They still don't believe the hype of Ronaldo and Messi.
Right.
They tell the world Maradona was totally on the different level. And again, let me remember the late Novi Kapadia ji, because I have spent a lot of time with him, and he used to tell how mad the Indians were for Maradona. When Maradona came to India, people were crazy to just get one glimpse of it. The people who have seen Maradona, Pele, it's coming from generations, right? So I know people who have third generation Brazil fan now. Supporting Brazil because of their grandfather used to support it. So I think it's a layman casual racism from the European world to call that Indians are hired. I'm not saying that Qatar might have done it. The authorities, they might have give money people to support teams, but I know the Indians have enough passion to support Brazil, Argentina, these two nations at least. I'm not talking about France, England, and everything. That's I'm not aware of. But with my time in Indian football, I've seen all across the Kerala and West Bengal, they're crazy for Brazil and Argentina.
Actually, I just want to make a few points on this. Just want to say a few things about this. मैंने भी काफ़ी बार सोशल मीडिया में पढ़ा है कि especially since we support our Manchester United or Liverpool or Barcelona, we watch Champions League games at 2:30 a.m. or 12:30 a.m. and even if it's a heartbreak, we just go to bed at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. and that's the hardest thing to do. So because you have to go for work the next day, face rival fans, and that's a major issue for some of us over here. However, the thing is that the culture over here, the fan culture in India is such that people are not aware of it about football. Like Ashish just said, Maradona was considered as a god in India. Similarly, you talk about any other footballer, it is something which has been there. And this is a point which I made with my cousin. I was having this conversation the other day. I said to him that ye log jo hai, they're just paying these people from India to go and watch these matches. Even if these guys didn't pay them money, I think they would have still gone and watched those matches because they're watching their idols over there. And Indian fans are quite passionate about football. So yeah, that has been there. We have been passionate, and like Ashish said, we're sports lovers. चाहे वो cricket का Melbourne cricket ground हो, like you will be always be there in large numbers, or whether be it the Al Bayt Stadium, if which is going to happen in Qatar, there are going to be large number of Indians over there as well. So it's casual racism. You could say whatever you want, but
And that this is not first time, because I have been my time with, I've been to Germany, I've been to, Manchester also to
Yes.
watch Manchester United play, and in general, people match going fans, they do feel, that they are the biggest fan
Yeah,
of
exactly.
the football of the particular team, irrespective of whichever team. And I agree. Of
Yes.
course, it's been in their blood, and we Indians didn't have football in our
Yes.
blood. We have acquired the taste of football, because it's not part of our culture, because we're still a huge country,
Right.
and but that doesn't mean that मैं कम fan हूँ या
Right.
Alex कम fan है या कोई कम fan है, because we're still supporting our team, and it's still, people don't believe this, but the majority of the football fans, they have a dream of at least watching their team live once in their life.
Yes.
At their home stadium, and people work, and see, we are not huge economy in terms of salaries, our salaries are not as average salary as high as US, so to go to say to Manchester, to London, to
travel
Liverpool,
over there.
it's a once in a life opportunity, and it's a once in a life. People save their hard sweat and blood money to just watch their favorite team, to go to the stadium. That's tell us that they wait for this opportunity, that oh please God, ek baar. And I think that when that one opportunity come, and people say, oh, usko chance nahi aate hain, he doesn't chance like us. I think it's somewhere, I hope that football as a community, because it's football is the biggest sport in the world. There is no comparison with football. The FIFA World Cup is the biggest,
Not in terms of money, but also in terms of fandom.
bigger tournament than Olympics, I personally feel, in terms of, because people have the craze for football, the media, the awareness, it generates lots of clicks, internet, digital, on TV and everything, even rights and everything. So I think hopefully the football community get matured. They also accept, the football fans are not just those fans who go into their match days on stadium. Stadium have a limited amount of capacity, right? There are people back home, back in other countries, who are also supporting the team, and their support is also as important as the match-going fans.
Absolutely. I think.
And I want to bring this topic. Do you guys really think that this is the right time to have the World Cup? Because many of our favorite players are injured.
Right.
And few of the injured players are into the squad. Somewhere down the line they are, and managers are still trying to figure out कि कैसे खिलाना है, कैसे नहीं खिलाना. So what are your opinions on that? Is it the right time?
I honestly feel that, like this, since this is the first time that it's happening, and when something happens for the very first time, you will go against it. And as you can see, a lot of people are against it, and rightfully so. But yes, I do feel mid-season, in the middle of the Premier League, Champions League, La Liga, there are a lot of injured players, and the main priority for a player, yes, you could say they want to represent a really big club, but the main priority for every player is to represent the nation and to win a World Cup for their nation. That is something which they do think about when they start, dribbling with the ball in the arena or in the parking lot when they're growing up watching the idols. That is what they do. So I am, yes, there are plenty of controversies going on, but at this moment of time, the thing that is bothering me is that it's happening mid-season. And as soon as the World Cup gets over, that's in December 18th, you have Boxing Day. So on December 25th, the Premier League resumes, the rest of the leagues resume after that. So you could say that the players are being overburdened with a lot of games over here. And you could say that it's not like, from a player's perspective, I don't think that it's the right thing. What do you feel?
See, one thing I want to say about this, whole world knew that the World Cup, will be mid-season, and it's not that everybody was told. Everybody is told, that the World Cup will happen in December, start of this calendar year. Everybody was aware of it, and this is not the first time when injuries are taking players away from the World Cup. It happened in past also.
Right.
Every World Cup, there were major big players who missed it due to injuries, and so it's just that it's getting highlighted now. Because see, Qatar is not perfect host. Everybody knows about it. The bidding for the World Cup was not perfect. Everybody knows about it, right? Same way it was South Africa. The football corruption in football is in at every level. FIFA's to the state association in any country, So the votes, how the FIFA president are elected, how these things happen, everybody knows about the corruption at FIFA, So now, because it's happening in Asian third world countries, called from, if you talk about the Western world, it's happening in third world country, Because once the FIFA, if you go back to 2010 when South Africa was awarded the rights for the FIFA World Cup. I think that was the time when the World Cup started going to the lesser countries who were not big in terms of football, footballing culture or footballing nations, you know. And I think that from that time these controversies started coming on, you know. And so I personally feel it will start getting highlighted more because it's happening in Qatar. Western media wants to highlight negative points more. The injuries happened in 2018 World Cup also. The injuries happened in 2014 World Cup also. You go back, check your favorite teams, you will find a particular player missing. For example, Marco Reus is missing this World Cup. He missed the 2018 World Cup. He missed the 2014 World Cup. So you can't control injuries. Injuries can happen to anyone, you know.
Ashish, does it also have to do with the USA not winning the bid of actually?
Of course. And USA controls the major media houses in the world, you know.
I think they are hosting the next World Cup.
The next one, but they had the plan of actually hosting this one, but they were not able to because, like people say, there is an allegation that there was some inside talks, under the table stuff going on, and because of which Qatar was awarded the right to host the World Cup. But yeah, I think we should just. Should we talk more about this topic, or should we now talk about?
I think we should fit more ahead because we will keep on talking about these stuff. It's a long list of topics, you know, and I think the excitement I have for this World Cup is watching Ronaldo, Messi, and Neymar.
It's their last dance.
I think
it's
the last World Cup we're going to see the last these three superstars in last of 15 years. I will go back to 2006 World Cup, you know, when Ronaldo's and Messi's were coming on, and I put Neymar in the similar category. People might not respect him as Ronaldo and Messi, but talent-wise, I personally feel that, you know, Neymar had a world on his feet. I remember staying awake when he was Santos, you know, and playing in Brazilian league, and it was crazy among the football fans. This the next football superstar. Next football superstar. And it's a while since Brazil produced that, you know. If you go back to the 2010 Brazilian team, they didn't have any. Alexander Pato, if you remember AC Milan, former Chelsea, he was their kind of, you know, the messiah of Brazilian football, you know. And that's tell you about how low Brazilian football was at that time, you know. Pato was a great talent, one of my favorite striker. I remember, you know, giving one of my nephew a nickname of, because I was a big fan of Kaka, and I used to call one of my nephew Kaka and another called Pato, but Pato didn't kept his, you know, injury and fitness wise. So Brazilian football was all-time low in the 2009, and then came this kid, a 16-year-old Neymar, when he scored that goal from half line, took the ball from throw-in. If you remember, it was throw-in, and he took the ball from his own half. He was near the half line, and he dribbled past. I think at least 7-8 defenders and scored that wonder goal. And I think people who like player like Neymar, they went crazy for him. And I think, you know, I remember each and every big club at that time they tried to sign him. From Premier League, Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, everybody made sure that they want to sign him. You know, ultimately it was Barcelona. Ultimately, it was Barcelona who got, because I think, of course, Barcelona have a good connection with Brazilian football from, you know, not from here, from earlier also. And they got him, and, you know, and I just hope Neymar, if he had the work ethic of Messi and Ronaldo, you know, we would have seen a different level footballer. But I think still, because Neymar comes from Brazil, they play football for happiness. They play football for him, you know.
It's their culture.
See, we have all read the interview Anthony, you know, Manchester United striker, when he's asked why you dribble past. I have dribble past poverty. I have dribble past people, drug dealers in my sitting on my throat, you know. So I will not stop going to dribble, you know. And you know, Anthony is nothing in comparison of Neymar. When Neymar came to Spain, he used to कहते हैं बेइज्जती करना डिफेंडर्स की, मतलब डिफेंडर्स वर
bullying their defenders.
We have all seen Ronaldo, you know, and after I come from that era where Ronaldo was on his peak of his power in 2002 World Cup, 2006 World Cup. Ronaldo was ultimate street footballer, but I think Neymar went to the next level, you know, because Ronaldo was more of an attacking midfielder. He used to play number 10, so in between on the pitch. Neymar was playing on the left wing, so he most of the time he was beating his right back of the opponent team, you know, and then teams, even especially Spain, the fans, opponent fans, they felt that he's disrespecting the football, you know, with the dribbling, you know, everything. But that's the Brazilian football is all about, you know. It's been their genes, and I think I really want, I personally, and I've kept Brazil jersey here with me. I think I'm not saying Ronaldo and Messi doesn't deserve the winning this World Cup. I'm happy that any of these three win, but I personally think that Neymar, I think this season he has that fire in his belly. this form he is in with PSG, you know, when Mbappe and when Messi was not clicking in the early parts, Neymar was a different level, you know, he was just taking the, and you have to see another thing, the work rate. The work rate was missing from Neymar's football for last 8 years. This season, he was taking the ball as a left back for PSG. And a dribbling pass player, taking the ball to his own wing, then passing to Messi and, or Mbappe to score goals. So that work rate, if Neymar puts for Brazilian team, you know, I think that will make this Brazilian team an unstoppable team. And I personally think they are the favorite. It's Brazil World Cup to lost. I personally feel that if it's Brazil, everything is written, the script is written, they have team and everything, they are favorite. I think it's Brazil World Cup to lost. And I think, what do you guys think? You know, who are the favorite? I think Brazil for me is the favorite.
Alex, I'm going to talk to you about Brazil, but before that, let's just take a few comments over here. Satyam Bakshi says, in this World Cup, some nations have the potential to upset bigger ones. Denmark and Uruguay are among a few. A very good comment over there. Satyam, we'll talk about that as well. Yash Bhatt, Argentina 24 passes goal in 2006 World Cup. Okay, he has this memory of that really good goal. But yeah, now let's get back to Brazil. And we are talking about some of the teams who are the favorites of this World Cup. So Brazil are definitely one of the favorites. But, you know, football in today's day and age, it's all, I think it's become a little bit too robotic. You talk about the Jurgen Klopps, you talk about the Pep Guardiola, you talk about your Jose Mourinho's. There's a specific tactic for every manager, and that player has to mold himself into that in order to get into that team. And
that's why we say when transfer market opens, ki ye player fit baithega, nahi baithega.
Right.
Yeah,
but with Brazil, the thing is, you know, the reason why they became so popular was, yes, they of course respect their managers. I'm not saying that they don't, but they have this sense of fearlessness when they have the ball. You know, they have this superstar aura whenever they have this ball. Whenever they have the ball, be it with Ronaldinho, you know, when I was growing up, it was all Brazil. Because I did not know football much when I was growing up, when I was 6 or 7. It was all Brazil. We knew about Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Nazario, then Roberto Carlos, Rivaldo.
3 hours, they used to say.
3 hours.
Exactly. So, and now you look at that team once again. You know, in the last few years, they haven't been able to perform in the World Cup 2014 semi-final. They did go into that. We remember what happened over there, but now, finally,
and then next World Cup, Neymar became a meme.
Yeah, Neymar became a meme. So they've had quite.
I think last okayish World Cup they had in 2006. You know. I think next World Cup, but I think that also they got knocked out in group stage. I have to check because of defending champion and the curse of defending champion. You know, in the World Cup. So I think it was 2002, which was the Brazilian World Cup. You can call it. They've seen the Brazilian power, and any World Cup, irrespective of the Brazil team, however the team is, they always go into that World Cup as favorite.
Yes.
Because they are the biggest follower team. That, like we call, you know, biggest club in world football, Madrid or Manchester United or Liverpool, whoever, irrespective for the choice. Brazil is the biggest follower team in the world, I think, because of course they are 5-time winners. Right. There's a reason they are 5-time winners, and we knows that people support winners more, you know, and I'm sure they are followed by Argentina, you know, because of Maradona. Yes. And it's a legacy, right? It's a Brazil-Argentina legacy of 50-60 years. It's not a legacy which created only 5-6 years old. It's not France, which have just come. Right. France have done earlier also, but you know, Brazil, because of 5-time champion, there was a legacy of Maradona and Pele, you know, and then followed by the 3 hours at, you know, when Brazil was at its best in 1998, 2002, you know, when the Ronaldo, you know, and Rivaldo, Roberto Carlos, and Ronaldinho's. So I think that's why they always go as a favorite in the World Cup, because they are 5-time champions. They have that, you know, football in their blood. They literally have. I think because I remember talking to, I was working with one club in Brazil where the Indian, I just forget the name, I think if I remember, Romeo Fernandes went, and I was talking to the director of the club, you know. They say in Brazil, it's football or nothing. They don't have any other option.
Right.
There is no education, there is no jobs. If you play football well, that's the only, it's literally the only way to come out of the poverty. जो गरीबी से बाहर आने का एक ही तरीका है वहाँ पे. जैसे हमारे इंडिया में तो एजुकेशन भी है. I'm not saying ब्राजील में एजुकेशन नहीं है, but I think that's the easiest way for these kids, you know. And
ब्राजील में UPSC IAS नहीं है.
ये कह लो आप UPSC IAS नहीं, और मैं भी ये कह लो कि you know, the overall economy of the country, you know, and that's why they got criticized hosting the World Cup or Olympics, where they feel the country is not doing well economically, and then you're doing these mega tournaments. So I think it's for Brazilian players especially, you know, and we have read this story of all these Brazilian stars all in past, you know, how they were in with the drug dealers or in, you know, gangsters in the streets and how they come out of it. So I think because it's in the blood, I think Brazil will go as a favorite, I think, in every World Cup, and of course, for me, they are the favorite for this World Cup.
So like Ashish said, they do go in as the favorites in every World Cup. But in this World Cup, when I look at their team, they feel kind of complete, because as well as the unity. Even before the World Cup was about to start, you remember what happened with Vinicius Junior, and all the Brazilian players came together and said "Baila Vini" when they were actually throwing racist slurs at Vinicius, the fans. And then the same thing happened with Antony. Then Neymar said that you should continue doing whatever you're doing when he did that spin in Europa. So that togetherness is there. And I think if you look at the squad as well, you look at the
forward line, yes. Neymar, of course. Neymar, the OG Neymar is there.
Vinicius is there.
Yeah, Rodrigo.
Martinelli. Prospects.
Martinelli. But I like to add here, there are few chunks in their armor, and I would like to know from both of you two, what are those exactly? From me, looking at the Brazil squad, impeccable, definitely favorites. Sara YouTube, it's like, it's Brazil's here, Brazil's time, and Brazil. Gabriel Jesus form, slightly thoda sa gold rot shuru ho chuka tha. I think can be the, what can I say, manager will be like quite skeptical of him, but then I feel the next moment कि यार options भी तो बहुत सारे हैं. I mean वैसे but Gabriel Jesus when it comes to that कि तो मेरा फिर वो है कि gold rod can वैसे वो है कि because attack line में वो है, but I feel कि वहाँ confidence suffer नहीं होनी चाहिए. And personally coming from a Liverpool fan कि Roberto Firmino I feel should have been picked. Form अच्छी चल रही है, everything is fine.
Right.
तो ये है. But as we were discussing, so Negi sir said कि manager would like to go with the players जो पहले से एक set of team में वो बिठा रखा है उन लोगों को, and वो comfortable है अपने साथ, which I agreed. But they have picked Richarlison, and I think he's अभी injured नहीं है. I think उसका भी अभी थोड़ा doubtful जैसा scene है. So again, Firmino has more goals over Richarlison. So मेरा favorite is missing अभी squad में, तो I feel का थोड़ा सा वो कि यार Firmino, you should have been there. You could have been that difference maker. And regardless of that, Lucas Paqueta in mid with the support of Fred and Casemiro. And he's sort of a makeshift type of a midfielder. So I think he's the one, apart from Neymar, Vini Jr., all the big names, Lucas Paqueta and this 23-year-old Bruno Guimaraes. I think he's from Newcastle, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it's my watch.
Players to watch out for.
Yeah, players to watch out for, Bruno Guimaraes and Lucas Paqueta.
Right. So Ashish has already given his verdict that Brazil.
I think one thing for Brazil I want to add is their coach has. I was just checking their recent fixtures, you know, and what they've played in last 2-3 years. They have played various formations. You know, you can't call that Neymar plays a number 10. They have played Neymar as a number 10. They have played Neymar as a left winger. You know, I think I just looking into everything they have. I think they will go ahead with 4-3-3 formation. They don't want to play 4-2-3-1. Don't want to put Neymar on number 10. That will give him more defensive duties. I think they will go as a 4-3-3. As of now, what I think, and you know, and they will play 3 midfielders. You know, Lucas Paqueta, Fred, or Casemiro, or even Bruno Guimaraes. You know, he has a more. And then they play Fred for his tenacity, you know, because he can go box to box and he has that pace, you know, and maybe understanding with Casemiro also playing at Manchester United. So I think Brazil most likely to go with 4-3-3. I don't think they're going to play Gabriel Jesus.
And what about the goalkeeper? Ederson, Ederson.
I think people call Alisson is a better goalkeeper, but I personally feel the pace Brazil have, I think they will need this. If I pick, I will pick Ederson just for his playmaking, you know, because the long passes he can give. And if you have pace of Rafinha on right, or Antony, or Neymar, or Vinicius Junior, or Richarlison up front, I think why not? You know, why not take that? That's one approach. You know, considering that what Brazil wants to do, and I think looks like Brazil wants to play 4-3-3 formation. As of now, we're seeing all the results. I think I don't want to see Neymar with the defensive duties. Let Neymar play where he's playing for his club, where he's playing left wing. I think don't play number 4-2-3-1. Play 4-3-3.
Then what about Vini?
I don't think we'll see Vini. Vini can come. They can always change this formation. They can put Neymar as the false number 9, remove Richarlison, put Vinicius on the left wing, and put even Antonio on the right wing. Looks like Rafinha is going to get a nod over Anthony because he's also injured. He's coming injured in this World Cup. People are not aware of it. He was not fully fit. Once this World Cup once the season was concluding in Premier League for Manchester United. So I think it looks like we're going to see Richarlison as a number 9, Rafinha on a right wing, and Neymar on a left wing. Paqueta, Fred, and Casemiro looks like the 3 in the midfield. I think 4-3-3 is the Brazil, and the good thing for Brazil is the group.
Yeah,
I think it's a competitive group, but it's still they don't have if you see the group, Brazil has Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. Or I think Serbia, Switzerland are a good team. Cameroon is a good team, but I think it's not that Brazil will be afraid of them.
Yeah,
they are not a big nation. Of course, they can always create an upset. But I think that will give Brazil a chance to build the squad. Because these friendlies which is happening before the World Cup, they don't want to risk their players. It's a very I don't know why they play these friendlies. I personally feel because injuries and everything, the way it's happening, could have they avoided these friendlies? I don't know, because coaches feel that they want these friendlies to get the rustiness out of this player when the World Cup is happening in the summer. But considering this player coming from club football, 5 days, 6 days ago they were playing for their clubs, so most of them are match fit. I think the friendlies they are playing doesn't make sense to me. They're risking their players, and that's why most of the countries are not playing. They're all the big stars, Right. So I think 4-3-3 is look like the formation which Brazil wants to play, and I think that's the best formation considering you don't want to make your midfield very thin, which they did in 2018 World Cup. Neymar was playing as a number 10, and I think with all respect to Neymar is not a number 10. Of course, he can play there. He can play the false number 9 also, but I don't want to.
He's more of a winger.
See, you don't give defensive duties to Ronaldo and Messi. You don't want to give defensive duty to Neymar also.
Free role has to be.
You have to give him a free role, even as a number 10. He has to have a free role. Then your left or right winger has to cover for him. They need to be very defensive, solid in terms of their mindset. So I think that's all about Brazil. I think, and of course the defensive weakness we all are aware of it. One thing I think which Brazil might do is that not allow their fullbacks. The fullbacks will, I think, stay in the midfield. They're not going to overlap their the wingers. I think that's my personal opinion about it. So who's your favorite, Wali, going to the World Cup?
Well, Brazil was my favorite as well. So I think all bases are covered over here. We'll just take a few comments.
But there's a big but.
Yeah.
Here there's a big but कि कभी भी ऐसा हुआ ही नहीं है कि जो भी country FIFA rankings में number 1 की spot पर है, they have won it.
Yeah. That's actually a mind-boggling stat, and also the team which has.
But there are so many kabhi, if, and but in football, which always get broken. The records are made to get broken, or the myth, these जो streak होती हैं, it's get to broken. And I understand people want Alisson. As I said, Hardik is also commenting on Alisson should start. I just saying because of people might say for goalkeeping is all about goalkeeping. I still don't feel it. Why not play? Ederson plays an extra midfield for Manchester City. It's not Ederson is lesser than Alisson in terms. He plays for one of the most recent time successful club, in terms of success, and he's a main focal point of that success. Even Pep used to say if you guys remember, there was a time, I think it's the last year or when Manchester City was missing lots of penalties. Pep literally said, that Ederson wants to take them, and I can't stop. If we miss one more or two more, I will not stop Ederson taking those penalties. So he's that good with the ball, and I think the way football Brazil wants to play, I'm sure they're going to counterattack the teams, especially going to the big games. So I think they have one of the best 2 goalkeepers in the world right now. So I think even if Alisson is not a bad on, we've seen him starting a counterattacks for Salah at Liverpool. He hit those long balls on the wings for Liverpool. So I think Alisson is not bad, but I think ultimately it's all about the attacking talent. I think whoever play in the attack for 3 or 4 attackers. Remaining 7 players are playing supporting cast for me. I think they should be playing supporting cast. That's the only way going to Brazil for this World Cup. Their midfield doesn't have any creativity. If somehow they go, they don't have a playmaker. They don't have Messi, or if you go to England, Madison. If you go to France, Griezmann as a playmaker. Brazil don't have a playmaker in their team. Even Bruno Gomes, he's a number 8, but has not played much for Brazil. You have to see that also. As I told you, coaches prefer the players. Lucas Paqueta, Casemiro, Fred, they are not a playmaker. All are the blockers or the destroyer, you can call them, defensive midfield minded player. So I think they don't have that playmaking ability in that midfield. Or if we somehow they use Bruno, that's why Bruno Gomes selection was important. They got that one trump card in the midfield, they want to change that. You know, they want to put 4-2-3-1. They can put Bruno Gomes in that 4-2-3-1 formation, you know, and they put Neymar or then Vinicius or anybody on right wing. That's the trump card they have. And another, I think we might see Neymar playing as a false number 9 in some time of this, you know, throughout this World Cup. Whenever they want to put more attacking player, you know, especially like Vinicius Junior, who's a Premier Champions League winner and everything. And if they want to left wing, I think Neymar will go at the center of the pitch.
Well, it's a good problem to have for Brazil. They have a really good squad, some really good goalkeepers. But before we talk about a few other teams, let's just take a few comments over here. So, Hardik Malhotra says that Alisson is way better than Edison. Gabriel, yeah, Gabriel is in the form of his life, says Yash Bhatt, who's an Arsenal fan. I can see his display picture over there. Then Rajvardhan Chaudhary says only Ronaldo number 7. I think he means CR7. Actually, you need to, you know, you just go to YouTube and look at, take a look at Ronaldo Nazario and what he did in his primes, and you will get to know who he was as well. No respect to disrespect to CR7 as well. Going ahead, Hardik Malhotra says that Manchester City are still missing penalties. Mahrez. So yeah, that's also another problem that City have, which is ongoing. But आगे बढ़ते हैं और ब्राजील के काउंटर पार्ट्स के बारे में यहाँ पे बात करते हैं.
एक यश का एक क्वेश्चन में ले लेता हूँ. एशियन कंट्रीज के बारे में पूछ रहे हैं, यू नो, हु आर द एशियन कंट्रीज. सो कतार इज देयर, Saudi is there, Australia is there, Japan is of course there, and South Korea there. I think Asian countries have been always underrated going into any World Cup, you know. And last time when World Cup happened in Asia, it happened in South Korea, Japan 2002, and South Korea reached the and then people call it a scandalous semi-final appearance for any country because of the referee's decision in favor of South Korea. So I think going to this World Cup, Japan is not a pushover for sure. South Korea is not a pushover. These two countries have played a competitive World Cup in past. I think.
Let's not forget what they did with Belgium in the last game.
Yeah, and you know, and when they lose, they lose 1-0. They don't lose big games, you know. So I think Asia and the Asian countries, one advantage they have, they know the conditions.
Right.
They have played in Qatar in past. They have the Asia Cup. You know, the big tournaments happen in Middle East. So they are aware of this condition, you know. And I think one thing I want to say is Qatar is also kind of a team which might surprise people. And Qatar have been working on this squad for last 10 years. People who follow Indian football, they will know aware of it. Qataris majority players are of African descent now. They have scouted these kids way back 10 years when they were, you know, 5-6 in Africa, and kind of, you know, they migrated to Qatar. Kind of Qatari government, Qatari Sports Authority got them into Qatar, and they have been playing together as a unit when they're 10, 11, 12. So they have graduated from under 14 to under 16, under 19 to under 20 to the senior team, you know, and this squad have been kept together for 10 years. So Qatar is not going to be pushed over tomorrow, you know, when they play against the opening game. Many people feel that, you know, the opponent team, Ecuador, will have a upper hand. Of course they will have an upper hand, but I think Qatar have everything in them to create that big, not upset, but I think to create that first, you know, non-favorite result, because people are favoring the Ecuador going to the first game. I think Qatar has everything, because you see I have seen these players, Hassan Aldos, Akram Afif, Alimoz Ali, everybody, Ali Asad, playing very regularly. When of course they were in the India group, so we have to watch them on regular basis for our work. And these are very talented footballers. Only thing which is the you know, occasion. It's a big occasion.
Right.
Playing in the World Cup is a once in a life opportunity for these players, for any football player in the world.
The burden of all those
you know, and
expectations.
Head to head, who have won? I think Qatar have won.
Against Ecuador.
I think
Against
so.
Ecuador,
Let me.
of the first match.
They have the edge, and to actually signify their rich run of form, you could say, they've won their last 4 warm-up games as well before the World Cup, which is against Guatemala, Honduras, Panama, and Albania. So they're actually going through some rich reign of form over there. And there's also another question by Anish, who says that which country will find it most difficult in these conditions. Well, if you haven't seen it on Twitter yet, I think you need to take a look at those English players who are actually having a...
Most of the European teams will find it difficult, because it's not their weather.
Yeah,
even it's a winter World Cup, it's not winter in Qatar, you know. So it's still
25 degrees is hot for them.
So it will be hotter for them, and I think the condition will play their role definitely going into this World Cup. I think the intensity will be missing. I'm sure the group stage games will not have a similar intensity of the past, but that's all about using your resources, because the 5 substitution rule is there. You know,
I think this is the first World Cup with this rule.
This is the first World Cup with the rule. We have in Euros, we have in club
We might
football.
have drink breaks as
Drinks break will be, of course, there if the temperature goes above 33, which is FIFA's rule.
Right.
There will be drinks break designated. Most of the games are also in the later. I think first there are 4 time zones. I think four match times are there: 3:30, 6:30,
9:30 and
9:30 and 12:30. So 9:30, 12:30 game where will come, temperature will go down. So I think these are the majority of big games will happen. So I think conditions definitely will have their role, And we have seen a similar kind of situation in 2002 World Cup where the South Korea and Japan hosted the World Cup. The condition played role. South Africa 2010 condition played the role. 2014 Brazil condition definitely played the role. Brazil is also a hotter country.
Right.
So I'm sure South American country will not find that difficulty in terms of playing because they have played in their home games in regularly and they go. So in South America, for example, Argentina play countries which are in higher altitude.
Right.
So they have very tough conditions. In Europe, majority time condition is same. Even if you play any away games, it's same weather. Europe majority time until you're going to Norway to play. Very more chilly place. So it's not hot in Europe majority of the countries. So European countries will definitely find it difficult in terms of the weather. And I've seen this. Even when India go to Qatar, they also find difficult. It's not easy. And when other countries, East Asian countries go to Qatar, they also find difficult. So condition will definitely play the role, and that's the reason the World Cup is happening in winter. If it has happened in summer, I think it's impossible to play football in Qatar in month of June and July. So that's the reason they're doing it in December. I think let's see. I think ultimate all of these situations, external conditions. I think it's football. When football take the center stage tomorrow, I think we'll enjoy it. I think everybody enjoy it. We have seen controversies related to all the World Cups, and I'm going back to again. There will be controversial movement in this World Cup, but I hope football take the center stage. We should remember this World Cup for football in 10 years after today.
We all want to.
I don't want to. Even 2010 World Cup, it was controversial. But only thing I remember that World Cup is Shakira's Waka Waka and of course the Vuvuzela which got introduced to the football, and the first game of South Africa winning that World Cup. Of course, we saw the success of that Spanish team to win this World Cup.
Not to forget the iconic winning goal.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the Spain and the rise of Spain. Because ultimately what Spain did in those 4-5 years. Spain was a big footballing country, but they were never taken seriously at the international stage. I mean, very honest, 2008 Euros, they made their presence felt, and then finally the 2010, because that Spain team was generational team, That, like we call Belgium for last three a big addition European and the World Cup. They are generational team, but sadly Belgium has not delivered as of now. But Spain delivered with those two championships. I think the 2010 World Cup, 2012 Euros they won. I think. Right, 2012 Euros, Spain won.
Yes.
So I think they deliver with those major two tournaments, and I think it don't happen much when you have World Cup and Euros winner together. Then France, of course, repeated in 2018 and 2020. Right, France won it 2020 Euros. Right?
No, Italy
won it. Sorry, but that's what I'm saying. It doesn't happen on a regular basis. Spain did it. Like you called for MS Dhoni, he did it 3 World Championship. T20 World Cup, and ICC Champions Trophy. It doesn't happen much. Same thing what Spain did. Which was on 10 and 2012 when they won the Euros, they won the World Cup. So that's why I think so we don't remember all the controversial part, all the corruption and everything of Spain, the South Africa World Cup.
Right.
Even 2014 Brazil World Cup. We all remember those footballing memory, and that's what I just want to keep the footballing memory going ahead. And I hope football create enough memories for us to remember those going ahead.
I think speaking of memories, I think one guy who has created memories for us over the last 15 to 20 years is Lionel Messi. Or let's just say 2 guys who have created a lot of memories for us. Lionel Messi and CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo. People are saying that it's their last dance. And as you can see in our thumbnail as well, it's probably their last dance. So
Messi has already said that
it's
Messi, his last World Cup.
Ronaldo has also said it.
Ronaldo,
Neymar said it.
So plenty of superstars who will be bowing
It's
out
like
from
more
the
or less
international
official.
play. It's more or less official. So let's now talk about Messi and Argentina as well as Ronaldo and Portugal. There are people saying, and there are actually a lot of anticipation from fans all around the world that they want to see an Argentina versus Portugal finale because that would be the perfect closure for Messi and Ronaldo. And heading into this competition, I think Messi might just have the upper hand because of the form that he's going through as well as psychologically.
Form of Argentina team as
exactly.
well.
So let's touch upon Messi and Argentina. What's your take on it, Alex?
Messi and Argentina is in impeccable form. And what can I say? A few of the YouTubers were saying that this team has no weakness. Ekdam position wala and high line of attacking and numerical superiority in attacking third, creating that attacking third. And somewhere down the line, I feel Argentina team has that passion in them. It's like 2011 World Cup when India won, Cricket World Cup when India won, the whole team was playing for Tendulkar. So
Right.
this time I feel in this team, it does feel like they all are playing for Messi.
Right.
It does feel that. The way they are attacking, the way who's the player who's defending Messi, Lo Celso.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he always
Yeah.
says
So the love for Messi, the respect for Messi comes out through and through in the team. So yeah, that emotional motivation you can say. So I think Argentina are quite strong. And they are, in my opinion, if not Brazil, then I would say yes, Argentina has that thing in this team that they can pull over to the final.
Also, the thing is that they are now 37 games unbeaten, if I'm not wrong,
Yeah,
in international
37,
circuit. And Messi as well as Argentina landed their first Copa America, their first international trophy in 2019 by beating Brazil in the final. So that's that's taking that monkey off your back. Once you've done that, you have the experience of playing in a final and actually winning it. I think that eases off a lot of pressure. And with the way that Messi is playing right now, there was an interesting stat of Messi. Well, we just have to say that he's an alien at this stage of time because, as you know, Ashish, his XG right now, expected goal ratio, is the best amongst Europe's top 5 leagues. He has close to 10 goals and 10 assists for PSG this season, if I'm not wrong. And you know, he's on another planet, and he scored another wonder goal against UAE in the warm-up game. So what do you have to say about him?
I mean, let me highlight one point straight away. I think they will miss Lo Celso, who got injured. I think, and he played very important role in this Argentina's undefeated streak of 36 matches. And I think he was the one who linked up with Messi very well. There are some players who always play better for their countries. You know, Lo Celso was one of those. You know, he didn't got success with Tottenham, then went to Spain, but he played very well for Argentina. Overall, Argentina's squad is not good as Brazil. I'll be very honest.
Right.
You know, it's all about what Messi's do. You know, and the injuries they have in that, you know, in their forward line. Di Maria is also coming injured. They have finally selected Piola Dybala from he's playing for AS Roma. He's playing very good for Jose Mourinho. So I think, but seeing, you know, somebody like Thiago Almada, he's a wonder kid from Football Managers who played Football Managers in 2016, 17, 18. He was
AC Milan player with Theo.
He's also got injured. You know, Theo Croia, right? Croia got injured. Atletico Madrid player.
AC Milan ka tha. I'm not getting his name right.
Angel Correa has got injured.
He's
all been
Angel
replaced,
Correa.
so he's also injured. So I think वो है, और plus their squad doesn't look as good as Brazil for sure. I think still if you compare the squad, if you see, जैसे बचपन में वो ट्रम्प कार्ड खेलते थे ना, अगर मैं अभी पोर्चुगल और अर्जेंटीना से आप एक ट्रम्प कार्ड खेलो, मैं खेलूं, आप मेसी बोलोगे, मैं रोनाल्डो बोलूंगा, ऐसे करके खेलेंगे तो I think the Portugal squad will be better, Brazilian squad will be better, but somehow it's one thing is clicking for them is the chemistry between these players.
It's Joaquin Correa. There's a comment by Anish.
Yeah, Angel Correa, right?
Joaquin Correa. It's that's the comment that he made over here.
Okay. So that's the one thing which is in favor of Argentina is the chemistry.
Right.
It's the work ethic. They definitely wants to win for Messi. And one thing is also in their favor is the lack of controversies. Which is there in the other camp, which we're going to talk about, is Portugal, you know.
Yeah.
There are lots of controversies around Portugal, so I think that's one thing they have kept the headlines out. They have made a squad in a way in and around Messi, and I don't rate that Copa America trophy, please. They do it every year just to make sure
Just to
Messi
make-
wins.
yeah,
So
exactly.
it's a lame joke of a trophy. You can't have a tournament every year to make sure that, you know,
He wins it
Argentina finally wins it. So I think let's not talk about that's like a Nehru Cup in India. We do it every year, so make sure India wins it.
A lot of
So I
Messi fans watching will be upset with that
that's fine,
comment.
you know, but Messi is the greatest footballer on the pitch. I listened to the Ronaldo interview while driving back home to the office in the last 2-3 days, and you know, I was telling somebody, Ronaldo has all his friends in his ear to tell him that you are the best, you are the best, you are the best, you are the best. आप 37 साल के हो फिर भी best हो. Somebody needs to tell the reality, and this is the reality. Argentina, of course, have won the Copa America. I'm not changing the history, but just see the way they have, but they've organized this tournament to make sure Argentina wins it. I'm not saying it's a fix or anything, but just they keep on doing every year to Argentina win it. That's something. It's ultimately World Cup, I think, which will decide. You know, Messi's, even if don't win the World Cup, he will remain in top 3, top 5 all-time greatest footballer of all time. But I think this squad is playing for Messi to win it. They are more together than I will feel the Portugal or even the Brazil, I will say. You know, but quality-wise, I still feel this squad is. I still feel शायद वो अगर मेसी को हटा दो आप इस टीम में X factor नहीं है. I can't. If you see the squad, all the names, आप pick कर लो. Will these players, all of them, other than Messi, will they start for the best club in the world right now, or even any other countries? They have better players, but it's chemistry these players have together. And somehow, if you go back, even 2018 World Cup when France won it, they were team together. Even they are stars, but they were a team together. They played at different formations. They were defending deep. And everyone was clicking. So that's how the Argentina will try to win this World Cup. Be together, thick and thin. Last World Cup, you remember when Argentina went to the final, right? So
2014
they went to the final. If you
Right.
remember, they didn't
Germany.
have a very good World Cup.
Yes.
Throughout the World Cup, they were not dominating the games, but they somehow won those games 1-0, 1-0, 1-0.
Di Maria and Lionel Messi.
They kept on doing it, and because they were more together, and that's how they did it. And especially when you play for your country, you're not playing, like club football. You're together whole year. The chemistry is there, and everything. It's important to struck that chemistry, and they have struck that chemistry, and that's the reason, Alex. I was telling the coaches don't drop their players when they're not doing well for the clubs, because they feel that the chemistry they're building, because World Cup happens in 4 years. The international manager works in that plan for 4 years. So going into the tournament, if your player is not in form, they don't drop it. They feel that it's important to keep the squad together. If I introduce a major new player straight to the playing 11, especially, they'll feel that will disturb that overall chemistry of the team, and that's the reason you will not find any major call-ups in the World Cup who have not part of the qualifiers.
Well, that was Messi. And
coming to Portugal, it's like I want to know from you guys. Brazil has this playing style of joga bonito. Germany, when we speak of Germany, attack till we die. Then we come to Spain, tiki taka, and what's gonna be for Portugal? Pass the ball to Ronaldo. So is it gonna be because unki squad lineup dekho, it's quite solid.
Right.
If you even remove Ronaldo, it's quite solid. They have that squad depth in them, and players की जो form है वो भी ठीक ठाक चल रही है. So yeah, and
well, यार पोर्चुगल का या तुम किसी भी टीम को उठा लो, when Ronaldo is there in that team, he is usually the target man, and he wants the ball in the box within the right time frame, just so he could head it in or tap it in, and be there, the fox in the box. Be it his final years for Real Madrid, that's what he was. Be it his first year after returning for Manchester United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ralf Rangnick. But when we come to a cohesive system, like what's happening now under Ten Hag, and when he is expected to do that, the hard yards and the gegen pressing and all that, there is a hint of struggle from his end. And to put things into perspective, I'll just tell you what the difference is between right now Messi and Ronaldo at this stage, right here, right now. So like Messi, like I was saying, talking about that stat, Messi averages 1.2 expected goal involvements per 90 minutes from non-penalty situation. No one across the top 5 European leagues has been more of a threat this season.
Okay.
As for Ronaldo, even if you talk about his stats for Portugal this year, Ronaldo has a minutes per goal rate of 284 minutes for Portugal in 2022. So he's just scored 3 goals for Manchester United this season. I think he's played 500 minutes. He's just scored 3 goals, which also includes 1 penalty. He's not in the right frame of mind. He's going through a lot, and like Ashish said, there are people who believe...
No, bhai. Ronaldo bhaiya ne bola. He is in very good frame of mind going to this World Cup, and and I'm not joking. I'm not mocking him. He said, "I'm going to this World Cup. I'm going to perform well. I'm very good. I'm fit. Especially was sick for the last 2 games, irrespective of it was lie. I think झूठा सच तक जो पता नहीं है. उसने वो इंटरव्यू में बोला मैं fit हूँ, fine हूँ, and I'm going to this World Cup with a positive mindset. I'm very confident that I am going to have a good World Cup. So I think, but when you talk about Portugal, the squad is very good. I think this Portugal team have evolved. 2016 Euros, when they won the Euros, that squad and this squad, they have evolved. They have talent in they have talent in each position now. The Diego Costa is one of the best upcoming goalkeeper. Of course he's playing in Portugal, so he's not. We can't compare him with Alisson, Edison, or even the other big goalkeepers in the world football. But I think he is going to make a big move after this World Cup. So I think that's the talent they have in the goalkeeping department. On defense, can you imagine a team in 2022, especially the form Cancelo is in? There's a possibility that he might not play this and the playing 11. There's a possibility that Diego Jalao might start ahead of him. There's a possibility he might play the left back. So it's a great team they have. It's unlike say Brazil also, who have very good forward line. I think Portugal, irrespective of Ronaldo, with Ronaldo, without Ronaldo, I think they have very good squad. I think overall squad wise, I think Portugal have more X factors in each positions. Than compared to any teams in this tournament. I personally feel I'm supporting. I really want Neymar and Brazil to win it, but I think if Portugal wins it, I will not surprise because they have Bruno Fernandes.
Right.
You know, we're talking about the change of tactics. He played 4-3-3 most of the time. Portugal manager Santos. He played Bruno Fernandes number 8, but you know. They have Felix, one of the costliest player in the world, you know, who can play the centre forward role. So possibilities of playing those different systems will come handy going to the knockout stage. You know, can they play? You know, on the wings they have Rafael Leo from AC Milan. He's also in very good form. You know, so the players they have, you know, Palina, Vichania, everybody is playing well. Coming to the Bernardo Silva, if you ask Pep will say he's the best footballer in the world right now. You know, I'm surprised with the evolution of this lad. You know, I remember because when he linked with Manchester City, of course, we linked with United. So of course, I've watched lots of Portuguese football. He was a winger. Just see what monster Pep has created. You know, in him. He plays a number 6 now, also number 8, number 10 on the wing and centre forward. So that's tell you about the flexibility this Portuguese team have overall. And I think if you compare card by card, I think Portugal have more card than Argentina for sure. I think that's one thing. But only thing I'm worried about the way they're coming to this World Cup.
Yeah.
All the spotlight Ronaldo has been on him might backfire for them.
Even if you look at Bruno Fernandes' reaction when Ronaldo came to the dressing room recently, they were saying
I think Bruno cleared that reaction that they were joking, you know, because his flight got late.
But there's plenty of things that are happening.
You don't want the spotlight, you know, going to the big tournament. If you remember, in any sport, you know, even the Cricket World Cup, any big tournament, you don't want negative spotlight on your players and your teams, you know. Everybody now, there was a eye contact between Cancelo and Ronaldo also in a training session. So everything is getting highlighted. Either you shut down your training session, don't allow footage to be recorded, you know, make sure your team is together. Let's not get the negative vibes in. When these things start getting highlighted, and you know, Portugal won the, I think one of the friendlies game, Bruno Fernandes scored the goal, he came to the post-match press conference, and all the questions he has was Ronaldo, mentioned Ronaldo. So that's the thing Ronaldo has created, and it's not a mess. But it's the spotlight is on Portugal now. It's of course the spotlight is always going to Ronaldo and Portugal, but this negative spotlight is going to be on Portugal, and I think that's the only worry for me going into World Cup with Portugal is.
Well, one thing is, Alex, one thing is for certain. Like if there is a guy in world football right now who knows how to react when the chips are down, we've seen it time and time again. That is Cristiano Ronaldo. Be it his comeback hat-trick against Atletico Madrid for Juventus, be it his hat-trick against Wolfsburg when he was playing for Real Madrid, or plenty of other. He's the ultimate clutch player. So right now the chips are down against him. He is that player who isn't a professional just because he isn't listening to the manager. But if it comes to the World Cup, I think, you know, Ronaldo might be saving his best for this World Cup. Do you think that it's going to be a simple yes or no question, or not yes or no, black or white question. Like, who's going to have a more impactful World Cup? Is it going to be Leo Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo after all that controversy that is happening? What do you feel?
Messi.
You still feel it's going to be Leo Messi? Ashish, who do you think it's going to be?
I'm a big Ronaldo fan. People around me knows it. Of course, I'm a big Manchester United fan. What happened recently, I didn't like it. And I think Ronaldo crossed that line, which he should have not. I personally feel that, irrespective of what Ronaldo's fanboys says in the comment section and everything, I'm biased toward Ronaldo. Of course, I want Ronaldo to win this World Cup, you know, irrespective of what he's done in the interviews. But I think Messi is coming with better form into this World Cup. Messi is coming with better international form into this World Cup because, see, Ronaldo in that interview also said I was criticized heavily by Portuguese media. You know, so because that's saying, like, you know, Virat Kohli will say I was heavily criticized for bad performance by Indian media. You are the star man of your country, you know, the ultimate icon. I think the biggest, leave sporting, he's the biggest icon of Portugal. I think you can compare with anybody in Portugal history. He will remain as the biggest person in Portugal, I will feel. So if you don't do well, you know, I think there will be
consequences.
There will be consequences. People will be critical of you. I feel they will go. I'm not sure. Ronaldo has not played the friendly, you know, and he is not fully fit when he was officially for Manchester United. Is he fit now or not? Because the interview was recorded a couple of days back. He was not recorded as we have watched it or listened it.
A week,
so I think
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. So is he how much fit he is? Or one thing I want to raise the question is, do Santos have the, you know, balls to drop Ronaldo and play Felix when it is not working for them?
Felix
That's-
or this guy, Andre Silva, if I'm not wrong.
I think Felix will play. If Ronaldo is not playing, the Felix is the man they're going to play.
I honestly feel Felix has to be.
I think that's the big question. If Portugal is losing or it's 0-0, 60 minutes, because Ronaldo can't play as a left winger anymore. If Ronaldo play, he has to be number 9. But do Santos has that in him to change Ronaldo or bring Felix, or if Felix is playing, change somebody else, bring another winger, put Felix as a number 9 where he's best at. I think that's a big if. Because if you do that, that means you can put Bruno Fernandes as a number 10 also. I think Bruno plays a number 8 to accommodate Ronaldo, because Ronaldo doesn't have that, defend. Because when Bruno plays number 10, he go for it. I think Bruno plays every match that it is the last match of his career. He plays that way. He doesn't think about कि मेरे पीछे support में press आ रही है कि नहीं आ रही. He will go and press madly.
Right.
Without seeing that पीछे मेरे पीछे gap तो नहीं बन रहा है. Is it not enough empty spaces? So that's how Bruno plays when he plays at number 10. And that's the reason he has been playing in a bit reserved role for Portugal, that number 8. And that's why his output as a Manchester United player, as a Portugal player, is totally different, I think. So if we put Felix in number 9, then you can put Bruno as a number 10, because they can interchange. Felix can come in deep in midfield. Bruno can come and press and make those runs also when required. But that's the big if. Because once he do that, there will be headlines throughout the world. If he drop Ronaldo in, or drop or substitute him, there will be headlines, irrespective of the win or the lose. So I think, as I said, the spotlight is on Ronaldo and Portugal now. So that's have not worked in past for many teams. I remember 2014 World Cup when Brazil was hosting it. The spotlight was on Neymar. That time was coming with a fresh, very good form in European football for Barcelona. The spotlight, whenever the spotlight is on a particular team, Germany 2018, for example, defending champion, they had a spotlight. Think about France is the defending champion, but people are not talking about much about France, Irrespective of the squad, it's depleted squad of France.
Right.
They're a very good coach, and I still feel they're a very good squad. But they will be very happy that Ronaldo and Portugal, Messi and Argentina has taken the spotlight away from them. I think it helps. It helps player when there's less pressure. The expectation and the media coverage is also less. It will help them. So I think that's the only worry thing. I personally feel Portugal has one of the best squad going into this World Cup. Overall, if you see the defenders, midfielders, attackers, because personally you see Brazil, it's all about attack. I think Argentina, Messi, and later a couple of players, they have talented players, then it's all about their togetherness and the chemistry. But if you talk about Portugal, I think Portugal have the squad. I think personally, the squad you need to win the World Cup. But my worry point is the Ronaldo. I think the biggest strength might be the biggest weakness also going to this World Cup.
Well, right.
Speaking of Portugal and the squad, and also the last dance that thumbnail says, do you guys think it's Pepe's last World Cup too? Because
I'm surprised he's still playing.
Yeah.
He's still playing.
And he's still a monster. He's like Sergio Ramos for Portugal. That
Well,
a level of aggression वगैरह he provides that. So you guys think that it's his last World Cup?
Definitely his
It
last
should
World
be.
Cup.
Yeah.
It should be. I think he should have written. Yeah, I have huge respect for Pepe and for what he's done for the game and all that. Strikers have nightmares against Pepe, but at this stage, I think that they won't be having nightmares because Pepe, first and foremost, he's not that quick. Physicality, we will have to see in this World Cup. And Ramos, you could say that he is a version of Ramos, but at the same time, Ramos offered a lot more than just defensive stability. So that's something which Pepe lacks. It will be interesting to see if he starts over here. But that's how it is. There are plenty of people who will be. Yes.
Let's quickly move to the other teams because we have taken much time. I think
Pepe, then Ramos. Ramos is not there in World Cup. Personally, I wanted him.
So I
to
think
be
two teams who are building up towards next World Cup, I will feel, is Spain and Germany,
Right.
who are not making the team for this World Cup.
Right.
I think they might peak for the next World Cup. So they will come into this World Cup as
Dark horses?
not dark horses, teams who will do good, who will reach knockout stage semi-finals, but are not going into this World Cup as a favorite for sure. For me, at least, they have the squad to win it, but I personally feel the squad is too young to make that impact, because you will need experience in this World Cup a lot.
Germany, I feel, can be that dark horse.
I think because the coach
Germany.
they have,
Hansi Flick.
Coach and the players.
the player.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, right? With German football, you never know. To 2014, nobody gave them chance, and they won the World Cup. I'm not saying I'm not giving them chance. I feel that squad might be better going into 2026 World Cup, where they have these younger players, which they have, will be on the peak of their powers, compared to other countries. Then France and their asymmetric formations are back. The coach, I think France tried the 3-5-2 system, 3-4-3, 3-5-2 system for last 2-3 years, and finally the coach Deschamps has said that
for that
criticized, and now he
it's
said
like,
that we are playing back four, but they play very different formation, by the way. Even they play 4-2-3-1. They don't play left winger. They play asymmetric midfielder. In it, Matuidi played in last time. Rabiot playing this time. Sometimes they played Pogba in that, wider player, wider playmaker, defensive midfielder, but on the wing. So they are back with the asymmetric formation, France. So I think being a defensive champion, of course, they have players out with injuries, but they still have one of the biggest footballing star, Mbappe, with them. So who has created those headlines in 2018 World Cup. So I think I personally feel because defensive champion curse is with them, but I think they are in recent time they are the best defensive champion coming on form and the squad wise coming to the World Cup. Germany has that weakness in 2018 World Cup, the aged players and everything with the squad. 2014 Spain have the similar issues. Their golden generation was getting older. 2018 Germany we talked about. So I don't think France is coming with this injury. The midfield is very, very new. They have Kamavinga and
Chouameni,
playing for them. No Kante, no Pogba. So that's a big miss for them.
And now Nkunku is also out.
And Nkunku is also out. So I think, but they still have enough. See, France have enough talent to make two France team in the World Cup. If they put the two separate France team in two different groups, there are high chances these France team, both of them will reach knockout. They have enough talent. It's a joke of a talent France. The amount of players France have, for each position, the depth is amazing. I think the best depth. If you talk about, can you imagine Pogba or Kante or Matuidi who played key role France not playing and still have a midfield they have now? A Champions League winning midfield they have. So I think it's I personally think that France coming as a better defending champion as compared to the previous World Cup. So I think that's one. Another team which we should talk about is the Dutch. What do you guys think about? And I love Louis van Gaal. Even as a Manchester United fan, I have a huge respect for him. What he has gone through in his life with the recent, the sickness and the illness, and the strong mentality he has. Can you imagine you discovering that you have that severe injury and severe illness? And his player was telling when they called him, he said, "Isko bhul jao yaar, World Cup jeetna hai." So the amount of toughness this guy has had in his mind. I think बाकी जगह भले ही 11 फुटबॉलर्स मैच डिसाइड करेंगे. I think नेदरलैंड के लिए शायद वो जो कोच है, क्योंकि I don't know if you guys remember 2014 World Cup. The trump card of him playing the Tim Krul, the guts of, because it's a big decision to do it, to change your goalkeeper just before a penalty shootout, not happened much in the world football. And when that happened, I think world got shocked, and that's what I'm saying. He will decide the Dutch game from outside the sideline. Only coach who might do it. That's what I personally feel. What do you guys think about these team chances which I have summed up? Spain, Germany, Netherlands, France, the 4 big European nations.
All I can say about the Dutch team is that they can cause an upset. It's like we'll be like, oh God, कैसे जीत गए ये? We were not expecting. So looking at their squad and all, I think they can cause an upset. This is all I can say.
Well, yeah, I honestly feel the same as well. I think the real MVP for the Dutch team is going to be LVG. So we've seen what all he's done in the international circuit as well. And like Ashish just pointed out, bringing in Tim Krul, having the audacity and the, the guts to actually bringing in that goalkeeper who didn't even feature in a single minute for Netherlands, and to finally turning him into a hero. That was something which was great. So yeah, for Netherlands, I think LVG.
And the squad he selected he's a squad. They're going to die for him on the pitch, and I think they want to give them farewell. I personally felt 2014 was a very good World Cup Dutch had. That time I really wanted Netherlands to win it because the kind of football they played,
They've lost in 4 finals, right?
Yeah, they lost in the final. The kind of build-up matches they had, those goals they scored, amazing. And Robin was one of my favorite player, and it still is one of my favorite player. So I think, of course, one country I'm all missing is 3 Lions. Alex, what do you want to say about England and Gareth Southgate magic going into this World Cup?
Unpopular opinion, I must say, if Southgate gets this squad click, then they can go long. I feel that because they have plenty of talent. Mostly, except for one player, everyone plays in the Premier League. Plenty of talent they have, but yes, they'll be missing Reece James. Yeah, they'll be surely missing Reece James this time. And plenty of talent, plenty of squad depth, and that this is what I am saying कि अगर ये 11 बंदे click कर गए, then England can go far.
Yeah, the thing with England is, Ashish, that I feel is that plenty of fans have backed Gareth Southgate because he's done well in the big tournaments, but at the same time, there are plenty of people who've actually criticized his pragmatic approach. There have been quite a few.
I think the amount of talent they have, they should be playing the good football, I personally feel.
And you saw in the game against Italy as well, the final, the Euro 2020 final. As soon as Luke Shaw scored that goal in the 5th minute, there were not many chances being created by the England side, and they were sitting comfortably at the back, and that is exactly why the fans of England are actually frustrated with this manager. But at the same time, these defensive policies could also win you tournaments. It'll be interesting to see that. And Reece James, as we can see, he's injured, so that's going to be a big miss. I honestly feel he's one of the top right backs in the world right now, and it's going to be a big miss.
I think of course, in England, they are the biggest in terms of footballing leagues in the world. The media is always going to hype it. It's coming home. It's coming home. It might come home. I'm not saying not, but I still feel. I think, of course, Gareth Southgate, of all the English coaches in the last 20 years, had done a great job. But I still feel that I think they don't have it to win the World Cup. I feel that. I think that X factor, which I always talk about, I don't think they have that X factor. There's still the approach they take it on the football pitch is controversial. It can work. It has worked for them. Of course, they've reached 2 finals, major finals in last semi-finals in the FIFA World Cup, then the finals in the Euros. Can they take one next step? Can
With the talent they have, they need to play better.
That's the only thing is what kind of formation he plays. Will he play back 3, or he play back 4? That's a big question. Harry Maguire form is a big question. That's one. But
Jude Bellingham, I think, will be the player to watch out for. Hype to hai, of course, uska, but yeah.
He's doing good.
But English young players have created memories in the major international tournaments. Michael Owen in 1998 World Cup, Wayne Rooney 2004 World Cup. Jude can have that in 2018, 2022, I'm sure. But he's a midfielder. But Rooney and Owen because when you're an attacker, there are less chances of committing mistakes, right? Even if you commit mistake, you do a bad pass, there's a whole team behind you to kind of support you, to tackle or to do the foul so that they can stop the play.
Right.
But when you play in the midfield, in the center midfield, there's a less chance. Then you can't take risk because you're playing international football. Whole world is watching it. That one wrong pass, you give away ball in the wrong position, other team can score in the counter attack. So I think that will be on his mind for sure, and that's what his other peers around him have to support him for sure. That's what I think. And one more thing I want to say about now 2 more countries. Let's wrap this up with 2 countries. Lukaku, De Bruyne, the Belgium golden generation, from goalkeeper, the Qatar, and the kind of team they have, and we have talked, and not we, but the world has talked about 2014, 2018 World Cup, Euros. This is the Brazil, this is the Belgium term, this is the Belgium golden generation, golden chance is there. Can they finally do it? I'm not sure, but I think that's one team. Of course, when you're talking about all the teams, that's one team we should also talk about. The one other team is 2 the old tiger, old lion in South America, Uruguay. Cavani and Suarez.
There's Darwin Núñez as well.
Núñez as well. And, they're good young talent to support. Facundo Pellistri from Manchester United, he's there. I think because see, it's World Cup. The South Americans are crazy. Yeah. I think they come handy in these World Cup. As I said, some players are there who just play very well in the World Cup. Mexico's players, they generally don't play at the same caliber, same level as they do for Mexico in the World Cup. The goalkeeper, if you remember Mexico goalkeeper, he just come into as a different form in the World Cups. By the वो club में form आज तक replicate ही नहीं कर पाया भाई. But World Cup आता है तो he turns into prime, the best goalkeeper of the world. So that's why some players I personally feel always do well in the international football, and that's what South America. They're very pride. They take pride to play for their countries. I think that's missing in European players. I'm not questioning their pride and pride for the nation, but the South Americans play at the different pride. Because they come from very different background compared to the European players. And they take very, very pride to represent their countries. That's why the Mexico's fans and the craze. So that's why I think Cavani and Suarez have that young team around them. I think they are the one who might create some upset. I think the people might take them lightly because of the 2 old strikers. But these 2 old strikers know one thing very well. to put ball in the net, I think, which is the one of the most important job in the world football or the football.
Well, we've seen both of them actually in I remember one of the goals by Suarez and Edison Cavani. It was against Portugal, if I'm not wrong, in the 2018 World Cup. So there were like 3 to 4 passes between them. Suarez crossed the ball to Edison. Edison passed it back to Suarez, and then Suarez crossed it again, and Edison Cavani headed it in. So, like Ashish said, South American nations do have a tendency to actually deliver in the World Cup. But let's also talk about Denmark. Well, there have been a lot of talk about Denmark as well, and they've impressed in the World Cup. They've impressed in the Euro as well. So, are they the original dark horses of this tournament, according to you, Alex, or anyone else?
Dark horses, I'll go with sort of Germany or maybe Netherlands.
Okay.
This time, but Denmark, yeah, they can. I'll say my predictions are that they'll go to round of 16.
Okay,
It's
I think
like
when you talk about
final
World Cup
9%.
dark horses, what do you mean? To win the World Cup or to create upsets? You know, sometimes the team might not win the World Cup, but they might be too big in country in pre-quarterfinals, quarterfinals.
By
you know?
dark horses, I don't think
Dark horses mean who can surprise everybody
Yes,
on the
exactly.
big games. So I think Denmark have the potential in them,
Right.
you know, and in World Cup, you're not talking about these countries, the smaller countries in the international football to win the World Cup. It's all about those winning those one big game, you know, and just doing the giant killing.
Right.
Just knocked out Brazil, Argentina, Portugal, or these big teams. That's all about in World Cup. That's happened in past. We have seen it, you know, and I think we will see the giant killing for sure. I think we'll see a multiple giant killing in the knockout round. I might see in the group stage also. There are some groups which are very tricky. I think which we'll of course talk tomorrow. Every day 8 p.m. we are going to this talk show. It's more of a talk show, so we are not doing any formal match preview or something like that. But tomorrow of course there's only one game, which is 9:30. So before the game we'll build up everything.
World Cup begins.
And we will predict about from each and every group tomorrow. I think we'll
Right.
both and we'll work,
We shall.
see that who are we have group of death. There are a couple of groups which are very group of death. I think we are running out of the time here. We have to wrap this up. Alex, I will just ask one question. Who do you think will win the World Cup? The prediction time. Just country name.
Just country name. Just one country name.
Or maybe you can get two. Let's say
Okay.
two.
Not going with Brazil. Either it's gonna be Argentina or my dark horse is Germany.
All right.
Go
I
on.
think it's going to be Brazil. I'm confident that it's going to be Brazil somehow. And then second favorites, I feel that it's going to be Argentina again. So
I think
Yeah.
people might be calling me Ronaldo fanboy, but these people know that the recent action of Ronaldo I've hated. It's just the squad that Portugal have. Of course, Brazil is my first favorite. I've on the start of the show said, but I think Portugal will have that in there to create that, you know, not upset, but to win that trophy. You know, it's just like England. Southgate is all about the coach Santos. Can he leave his pragmatic football approach behind his hat and put some attacking team when required, you know, put Bruno as a number 10, you know, change Ronaldo. Does he have in him? That's the only factor. If they can finally, coach can take that stand, you know, and make those tough calls that I don't want to play 4-3-3. Some situation, his formation is good. I'm saying it's not bad 4-3, but in some situation, can he put that 4-2-3-1 formation? Can he put Bruno as a number 10? Can he put Felix as a number 9? Is the only questions. If I can get those answers in first few matches from Portugal, I think Brazil is the favorite, or Portugal is the second team I think which has a chance to win this World Cup.
So it's all about flexibility, about making the right decisions, about adapting to the situation, and I think that's about it. आज का there was also a comment कि आप हिंदी में भी बोले तो हम हिंदी में भी बोलेंगे. The reason why इतना लंबी वीडियो आज हो गई shoot is because it's the start of the World Cup. We had to cover everything.
we have to cover.
And crisp रखेंगे कल से. Hopefully आशीष होंगे यहाँ पे.
कोशिश करेंगे क्रिस्प रखने की, because वो अंदर से एक बार आता है ना, टैक्टिक्स एंड मैनेजर्स, ये टीम जीत सकती है, नहीं
ये आप
agree नहीं
हमसे
कर रहा
पूरे
यार.
दिन बुलवा लो, हम रुकेंगे नहीं, बट हमें रोकना पड़ेगा, वरना जो कैमरे के पीछे वो उसको थोड़ा सा गुस्सा आ जाएगा यहाँ पे. एनीवे
कैमरास की बैटरी से कर रहा है, बट एक पोल डाला था कि who will perform better at the FIFA World Cup 2022. 201 वोट आए हैं, which is I think 201 लोग आए हैं देखने के लिए हमें somehow. Cristiano Ronaldo is 49%, so of course Messi 37%, Neymar 12%. I think out of 3, I feel Neymar will have even if Brazil don't win it,
पलट दीजिए.
I will feel that Neymar will have more impactful World Cup
Because of his form or because of the squad?
No, because of what the form Neymar is coming in, and because of
the team around him as well, I guess.
Neymar is also carrying a legacy of Brazilian football. Because he knows that अगर आज के 50 साल के बाद लोग जाएंगे और ब्राजीलियन फुटबॉल की बात करेंगे, people will talk about Ronaldo, people will talk about Rivaldo, people will talk about Pele, people will talk about Ronaldinho, they might not talk about Neymar. Neymar is greatest Brazilian player in last 10 years.
But उसने ओलंपिक गोल्ड मेडल जितवाया और
यार ओलंपिक गोल्ड
one
मेडल
remembers
is major thing in football by the way.
या उसको याद ही नहीं करता.
वही नहीं करता. तो मैं कह रहा हूँ तो वो legacy जो नेमार को create कर Argentina people remember Brazil Messi people remember one of the greatest footballer even if don't win the World Cup. But Neymar have to make his impact in this World Cup because he has not done well for Brazil in any of these tournaments. You know. So I think this is Neymar's stage to shine. And Neymar knows it. He has put in an extra shift this season compared to this season, you know. Even in the defensive duties, even in the pressing, even in the work rate, he is doing everything need to be done coming to this World Cup. He has stayed away from the controversies. You have to see that also, you know. That's important factor coming to the World Cup. So hopefully, let's see that, you know, can Neymar
make... skip करी, अपनी बहन से मिलने नहीं गया.
Birthday party, everything can't go eventually because he's playing the World Cup. That's the thing. So Wali, over to you.
Moving on swiftly and also concluding this over here. I think that's about it. Was nice talking to you guys, and we'll be back for this whole month. 1 month is going to be World Cup FIFA in this studio. Please join us. Make sure that you share it with your friends as well. अपने दोस्तों को भी बुलाइए and comments भी करिए, polls में votes भी करिए और ज़्यादा गुफ्तगू करेंगे इसके बारे में. तो कल से शुरू हो रहा है World Cup. कि देखते रहिए खेल नाउ TV for more intriguing discussions about Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, etc. So see you tomorrow once again at Khel Now TV. Thank you guys.
Thank you.